So let's get into some serious topics. We're gonna talk about what I've been feeling this past year or so since my last podcast. I don't think it's been a year, but it's been a while. But we could talk about where my head has been, the changes in my life, just a lot of stuff that men don't like to talk about because it's kind of figure it out. You always get to be a man, figure it the fuck out. You don't talk about your problems. But if I'm here to help somebody, if I can help anybody with my struggles, as far as stuff that I go through, the stuff that I feel every day, then I feel like it's worth it to kind of voice it and just give back. Because maybe there's somebody out there feeling the same way, but they don't have the tools to speak on it. They were never taught to bring it up and talk about personal feelings because that's never been a man's trait. But I mean, we all feel, right? So yeah. But first, hello everyone and welcome to the podcast Shawn does. I'm Shawn that does a podcast and this is my podcast. Welcome back everybody. It's been a while. I have teased podcasts and I have not delivered. I apologize for that. I just really did not feel like doing it. There's no other reason. I haven't had the motivation. I just kind of been in my own head. Sorry. I didn't feel worthy enough of making a podcast. I didn't feel like anybody would care what I was saying. But I'm over that. I am back to do this podcast because I kind of sat down and thought about it. And I'm like, if I'm not doing this podcast, there's somebody else doing it. And I know goddamn well how competitive I am, so I don't want that person to think that they're better than me. So why not keep putting out this content? Eventually it's going to stick in my eyes. So we're just going to get to it. So one thing that I could start by saying is I just haven't felt like me in a while. I haven't felt like my normal self. I'm very agitated. A lot of stuff bothers me all the time. I get asked, am I okay a lot? And that frustrates me because in my mind, I feel like I'm okay. But I guess the people around me could sense that something's off. So they'll kind of pull me to the side and ask me, am I okay? Is there anything wrong? Is there something you need help with? And that frustrates me because I feel like I'm okay. But when you don't think there's a problem, you're always gonna think you're okay. That's you being in denial. So one thing that I champion a lot is sorry y'all if I'm pausing a lot because I'm trying to gather my thoughts. It's been a while since I've done a podcast. So back to it anyway. One thing that I have championed a lot is therapy. That's something that I take serious. That's something that my fiance holds me to. She makes sure that I am in my therapy. She makes sure that I stick with it because it does help in the long run. As far as it helps me in the long run. I don't know about everyone, but it helps me because like I get into these dark periods to where I just don't want to be bothered. And being a father, you can't really get into that because you have your kids around. Your kids are growing up. Like Jesse's 4, Autumn is 1. You can't really get into those dark periods and you can't really let them see you like that because at the end of the day, you're raising them. You don't want to raise them into being upset, being irritable about everything, getting frustrated about a lot. So that's something that I try to avoid doing. It's hard, but you got to try to avoid it. You got to find your common ground with your kids. So one thing that actually I started a while back with Jesse, but we just haven't done it until actually this morning. So Jesse will wake up, and if it's my off day, he'll wake me up because usually I'm at work. I go to work. I'm leaving the house probably about 5 o'clock to get to work. So I don't see them all day because I work 10 hours. So I don't see them all day. And when I get home, usually Jesse will he'll meet me at the door. Him and my daughter, him and Autumn, they'll meet me at the door, and then for the next like hour or so, we'll just play fight. Like we'll just go to the room and we'll play fight because I know they aren't getting that with mom because mom can't really roughhouse like dad does. So they just wait for me. We get out and we'll play. But today, I noticed that Jesse woke me up, and usually when he comes in the room, he'll sit there with us for a little bit. He'll kind of play on his phone or his tablet or something. He'll sit there, play for a little bit, and then until he gets hungry, and then we'll get up and we'll go eat. But today, he walked in the room. I was already up, so he walks to my side of the bed usually, and he'll tap me and he'll tell me good morning, and he'll try to wake me up. But today, I was already up, so I was I was looking dead at him whenever he walked in the room, and he he looked at me and just kind of sat there and asked me for my phone, and I was like, okay, sure. So he played with my phone for a bit. He played some games that he has on there, and then he just got up. He told me, "Let's get up and let's go to the living room." I was like, "Okay, let's go." So the night before, I was working on some music, and Jesse, he's very much into music. I didn't think that he would love music as much as he does, but he was very much into music. So I would make a beat, and Jesse would listen to it for me, and he was kind of my like gauge on if something was good or not because I can kind of see it in his face if he liked something, if he didn't. So there were a few where he was kind of like bouncing around, he was hyped, and there were a few where he was kind of like, nah, you got to take that back to the lab. So I kind of gauged it off of that, and then the ones that he did that with, I can kind of see where I could tweak it. So shoot, he helped me. He might be the executive producer on the next album, if we're being honest, because he's forward, but he has a good ear for music. But so back to this morning. So he saw my microphone and he asked me. I don't got a crazy setup. I got I got my computer, my mic, my keyboard. It's really about it. I don't really got a lot. I don't put a lot into what I'm doing right now because I'm not as committed. Does that make sense? I'm not too committed to it, so really all I need is my mic and my computer. Once I put the effort into it and I know that this is something I'm going to stick to and I'm going to do it all the time, I'll get more equipment. For now, I got the basics. So Jesse saw my microphone and he said, he told me last night that he wanted to record. So we used to do this thing where if it was me and Jesse up, I would plug in my microphone, I would get the headphones, and I would let him record. I'd let him just record whatever he wants to record. He'll say anything, he'll do anything, he'll do anything he wants. So I would let him do that. And this was when Jesse was 3 going on 4. And he's 4 now, and he'll be, yeah. So he's 4 now, but we haven't done it in a while, so I know he's been wanting to do it. So today we did it, and we were recording stuff for like a good 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, and you could just see the joy in his face. He just loved, he just loved making the music. I mean, he just loved recording. He wasn't really making music. He was kind of recording his voice. So he could just hear what he sounds like. And we just do little things like, oh, let's turn it down. Let's pitch it down. Let's pitch your voice down. Let's pitch your voice up. So he kind of just heard silly voices, and that made him feel great about himself. I mean, that made him feel great about himself. So it's just little things like that, learning your kids. And with me, it's kind of a good thing that I see that because it gets me to get back to normal. It gets me to get back to my shit. Because you're always going to stress about bills. You're always going to stress about stuff that you can't control. I can control bills and everything. Everything gets paid. I know it's going to get paid. So I don't know why every month I stress about these things. I guess I'm the type that if it's not paid right then and there, I worry about it until it's paid because I'm thinking that something's going to get turned off. It's a bunch of different factors. But just little moments like that just get me to snap back into your dad. You gotta relax. So back to the therapy. Therapy wise, I did my therapy session. It's a new website that we have to go through with my job. And I did my therapy session. It was a consultation because I had to find a whole nother therapist, which I kind of didn't like. But hey, it is what it is. I got to get the help I need. So got to talk to my therapist. I like my therapist. She asked a lot of questions about home. She asked a lot of questions about work, just kind of getting to know me. So I did that, and after your therapy session, you just feel good personally because as men, you really don't have a lot of people to talk to. Like you can talk to your guys, you can talk to your friends, your guy friends, but it's usually ended in a joke. It's usually they don't take it as serious as they should. Like one of my friends, I didn't hear from him. I didn't hear from him because I usually talk to him daily, or will send like videos and stuff on Instagram, like things like that. I didn't hear from him one day, so I hadn't called him in years. So I called him, and he answered the phone because his mom called me and was asking because she was worried because nobody heard from him. I know he was living by himself, so it's kind of a worrisome thing. So I called and asked him, um, like, "What's up? Where are you? Like, what's going on?" And he texted me probably about 30 minutes before I called that he had a seizure. And I don't know where I'm going with this story, but I guess it's getting to the fact that guys don't really have a lot of people to talk to. So I talked to him for about 15, 20 minutes. We talked about family, laughed for a bit. He doesn't live close to me anymore. He's my best friend since like second grade. If you know me, you already know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I haven't really spoken to him since. So who's to say that he doesn't need that person to talk to, like I do? And guys really don't express that. So with therapy, for me, that kind of helps. It helps me to express feelings. It helps me to get stuff off my chest. Because a lot of guys hold burden, like they hold the burden of they have to be the one to fix everything. They have to be the one to make sure everything is right at home. So they feel like no one really cares about what they think, and that's not true. So therapy helps me with that a lot. Just long story short, therapy helps me with that a lot. And I got another session in I think 2 weeks. Looking at my 2 weeks. So pretty excited for that. But to kind of wrap this up, I didn't want this to be too long. But in conclusion, guys, we just have to learn how to speak because a lot of people feel that they feel like there's nobody that cares about them. There's nobody that wants to talk to them, or even cares about what they're saying. So that's a lot of reason why a lot of people don't make it through that cycle that I usually have. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. I've never been diagnosed with anything, so I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with me, but I get these little periods where I just don't want to be bothered. I make it through mine for my kids. My fiance helps me. My mother-in-law helps me. My grandparents, my dad, they help me. But I just there's times where you just don't want to be bothered. But sometimes the best thing to do is to have company when you feel like that. Personally, I love to be alone. I love to just kind of do my own thing. Like even at work, like the guys kind of stick together, and I'm kind of just off doing my own thing. That's just hope they don't take offense to it, but that's just always been me, and I just like to stay out of stuff. So that's just always been me. But a lot of times when you feel like that, you should have a conversation with somebody. Try to go and just converse with people you haven't. Say hi to someone. Just join a conversation. Just be around other people because it doesn't really help if you feel like no one cares or you're kind of in this self pity. If you have people around you that actually care about you, it'll kind of change your mood and make you feel a little bit better about yourself. So if you ever feel like that, try to get people around you that you know care. You'll know the people. I didn't want to make this one too long, so I'm gonna cut it here. Uh, I just needed to get that one off my chest, kind of put my voice back out there, and just say that I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you for even bring it up my podcast. Sometimes I forget I did a podcast because I haven't done it in so long. And you guys kind of keep it alive by letting me know that you're still waiting after a year or so. So I'm gonna keep pumping these out. I had to get this topic out of the way because it's something that kind of benefits to or kind of tells to why I haven't been around or had the motivation to do this. So yeah, I can use this as my therapy now. Let's just throw that out there too. But thank you all for listening, and I'll be back with another episode in a week or so. Bye.